So there's code on screen, pause if you want to look at it, and there are also timestamps in case you just want to skip forward to the more juicier parts of the video, which are, well, probably just going to be the gameplay where I show you the prepare action, but otherwise here on screen, yes, so we're just going to highlight the main attraction for the day, which is preparation prizes. I will note numbers later, but yeah, preparation prizes is essentially what you give to the player if you decide to skip the prepare UI. So if you saw the last episode, you'll notice that, yes, I no longer have these set to what they were. Now, what they were before was that, yeah, you got a chance of getting the guitar, the brick, or the ritual mask, which is how I made Nurse Miku. Here, this time, though, instead I'm going to be triggering an event, which will give me an item instead. I could show you that event, but I completely forgot to prepare it, so... Actually, no, I'd have prepared it. So, to show you really quickly here, again, not really much else to look at right here. This is literally how you would customize an event, just in case you want a sneak preview as to how events might be structured for Perm specifically. If they're not in Perm, it's a lot shorter with a lot less information. But for the most part, yes, what you see on screen is what you're getting. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through. Again, pause if you need to look at it. But this time the prepare event will give us a bone saw, and there's really only one option, so it's literally just a fancy way of giving the... giving the prepare item that I want to. Down here is perm stuff. Again, don't need to pay attention. So as we switch back to the preparation prizes here, yes, so all we want to do is trigger the event that is our preparation event. And so you just link to the Ito file, and if everything works out, then you should be fine. If it doesn't, you might get a crash, basically. However, there is something to note, and I'll note it here, I'll note it again after the timestamp, is that if you do not link things correctly, then the game will just flash on screen, but you'll still be in the same menu where you were to prepare. In this case, usually it's going to be the town screen, but you will still see 2 doom increases, and you'll notice it the most if you put something like funds 1, you'll see your funds increase by the number you indicate, but you won't activate the event. So at least the game doesn't crash there, so that's my... knowledge of my own experience to you, period. And then preparation numbers here, you can use it, but I don't recall it. I think this is more, I wouldn't say it's deprecated code, but you don't need to use it. Preparation prizes works just fine as long as you add in this colon with whatever you want. So again, if you're using funds, it's a number. If you're using trigger event, it's the link to the event, so on and so forth. If it's an item, the item name. So yes, otherwise, for anyone, if you want a little bit of trivia, prizes and numbers were normally split up so that you can put, say, trigger event, and then as long as you line it up, you can say, hey, the numbers, I'm doing air quotes in real life, is actually a link to the Ito file. That way you can split things like item, funds, item EX for perm, and then just go, so 2 funds and, a bone saw here. Again, if I type things in here, it's not going to affect anything that's happening in game, so that's why I'm just showing you on screen. But otherwise, let's get into it. So, again, the only other thing to see for today is the fact that we're going to grab the bone saw. I'm not actually going to use it because we are playing as Nurse Miku, so we get a syringe, but you know what? I'll use bone saw for about 1 or 2 mysteries, and then we'll move on. So, without further ado, as we randomize our run, it's Herald, Curious Birthmark, and yeah, off we'll go. Again, I messed up the episode that this was supposed to be because I tried to lump it all in one, and again, it made no sense for me to do that. So, as we set our settings as they should be, we're going to get into this run. Now, on a random item stat run, this might be interesting. Is it Cthulhu? I'm just going to say Cthulhu. So as we get into Cthulhu, Curious Birthmark, random item stats, Nurse Miku. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Cthulhu. I literally just forgot as I did it, but charisma, knowledge, second mystery, strength, second encounter, and maybe every single stat check with dexterity being on the 6th floor. But the most important thing to note base-wise is probably the second encounter is what people would forget the most. But who knows, right? But as we enter the house and then check our syringe for its stats, this is a very good syringe. So although we'll be getting a bone saw, I did want to give it to myself just in case. And on a random item stat run, the interesting thing is that, yes, the syringe, if it were doing 2 damage, and preferably if the bone saw were doing more damage and was a little bit faster, we would use it. But our syringe looks just fine, especially with its added perm effect. So nails, metamorphosis, arcade, tongue, and that's like nearly 5 boss encounters because arms is random. So the question is what I decide to do. Arcade I'll save for later. I think tongue has to be second, which means metamorphosis is first, and that means nails is fourth, but we can use the handcuffs there. Quick little strategy. But yeah, so the highlight of the video is hitting prepare here. And then we get a prepared event that I prepared for perm stuff. And this is just literally the closet. I just took the 1 scale art from the closet and copy pasted. And that was my PNG file. So hidden stash, and we get a bone saw. And yeah, this is actually, again, an okay weapon. But with its stats as it is, because I think it does 5 damage at base. It's just that we have random item stats, so shrug. Against undead enemies, I think this is the only one that has bonus damage against undead enemies so far, with base content, World of Horror. But if we can throw it, at least if nothing else, I'm going to learn how much the bone saw does on throw. I would say like 1. I don't think it would do 3, and it might do 2, but if I had to guess, 1. So let's actually pop into the history club really quickly. This is the spell I made for perm, so a little sneak peek of spells in particular, but yeah, we take that, because 1 stamina for about 2 to 4 damage. I was going to say Doom for some reason. Could be okay, could not be, so shrug, right? Now, the thing to note here is that I did leave that event as is, so if you do this again, you really do need to control your prepare event, because otherwise you get things like this, where you can actually spam prepare and get the same bone saw. In fact, I'm going to do it again just to show that, yes, Doom is increasing by 2, but 2 Doom for a bone saw, especially if it throws for like 3 damage or more, is actually quite useful at times, because that can be the difference between saving a turn of damage and, yeah, not saving a turn of damage. I forgot to use the police station as well. Forest time. I don't remember my mysteries either. I know I have 4 to 5 bosses, but I don't remember where Tongue takes me, and I certainly don't remember where Arcade takes me. Probably not the forest, but I guess we'll see. Now, here's reminding myself that we are in Metamorphosis right now, so we're pretty much taking as much as we can take that we can throw at the boss, because, yeah, no matter if you're on Timeline A or B, if you take Metamorphosis, get ready to fight the Meat Horror. But yes, with what you saw so far as we autopilot for the moment is, yeah, with events that you can make for prepare action, you can customize the character that you want to create to a relatively good degree. Also, pain here, by the way. I actually might want a heat wave here, but we're gonna try to throw out 1 attack while I throw the bone saw as well. You missed the attack. The bone saw does 2 damage. That's not great. So, yeah, I guess Heat Wave it is. We take the stamina damage for her, but kind of warranted. Now, I need to do 4 damage at some point, otherwise I'm going to be in a lot of pain. But, kind of doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, we just do Heat Wave again, and if we brace and never hit, that's really bad. We need to hit at least 1 of these attacks. If we don't, I might even consider punching. Nope, no, there's no point. I mean, 65% is like 25%. No, 20%? Is it even going to be 20%? I might just end up dying here. Oh my sweet goodness. And then Curious Birthmark on top of that. So, yeah, I was supposed to just do this, but I was just curious as to how bad my RNG was, because this does 12 damage, but, you know. We do have an old coin. But yeah, Panic is a curse you don't want. If you want your base World of Horror advice for the day, Panic is a pretty bad curse if you're unlucky. So therefore, if you consider yourself an unlucky person, it would behoove you to get rid of Panic as soon as possible, like I do. If you're confident and you don't care about a 10% decrease in accuracy, you do you, but I will do me. So, is it Arcade and then Tongue? I think actually Arcade might be easier, but we're going to take Tongue and see if I have assumed correctly or incorrectly, really, either or. You do get a meat cleaver here to throw, but that's not going to save us from the Tongue, so yeah, Blood Frenzy is probably going to hurt us, because I think the Tongue is quite tanky if I recall. So I need to remember to rest. I think there's 1 more investigation at least. There is, however, we need to rest regardless, because otherwise we are going to die. Getting Mayhem stacks is going to help, but our Doom is slowly and steadily rising. The alternative way to say what I want to say here is that I probably should have... Nah, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. So, let's go into an otherworldly location and find out. This is Reason, right? Yeah, Reason to Stamina. Don't think there's anything else to take for the moment. Let me just make sure there's anything else I can throw. The bone saw. Another bone saw, I guess. I mean, actually, I should throw this away. Yeah, I'm just gonna soft rule myself and throw that away. Unless I didn't throw a bone saw earlier and I'm just hallucinating. But, yeah, we do our best here. So this tongue has a lot of power, but we're just gonna have to gamble on a coin flip anyway. 50-50. And if we hit, we hit. If we don't, sadness happens. And with that, I think meat cleaver stuff. If we just do prep attack, yeah. Now I was about to say we never procced any eldritch fluid or anything, so that's not great. Is that my second encounter, by the way? I feel like it wasn't. Can I scum strat this? Doesn't seem... actually, that is the second encounter. Really? Well, hey, stop banging on stuff. I'm trying to concentrate. We lost that, by the way. Adrenaline, of course, into strength, because I like bracing. Period. So arcade, yeah. So between arcade and nails, there's a human enemy. The boss of nails is a human enemy, unless you go for ending A, of course. But normally, if you're just trying to just survive as much as you can, I would suggest you do non-ending A nails, and then you can fight a human enemy. So therefore, if you have the handcuffs, you can use it on that boss. Otherwise, if you are taking other mysteries that have human enemies like Akamanto, yeah, again, assuming you're doing non-ending A. I'm just gonna walk forward here, by the way. If I die, so be it. Period. End of that sentence. But yeah, anywho, let's continue onward. So the next few next few episodes of this series might be a bit interesting. It depends on what I decide to do, and I'm just going to leave it vague like that. A lot of things are usually tied together with Perm in terms of content that you could and probably are interested in making. So what I mean by that is even just with the prepare, the prepare action, linking it to an event. I needed to skip that boss. I'm pretty sure it does all damage. But yeah, so we linked to an item. It didn't need to be the bone saw. It could have actually been an item I made. You make in Perm, and therefore, again, that's what I mean by you're combining two things. Maybe you are playing with a custom character that has a completely, how to say it, unique event. I don't think that's the best phrase to use, but you get what I'm trying to say. There's a lot you could play with in Perm, and a lot that can be brought together. In fact, one of the best Perm characters, at least in my opinion, uses a mix of everything, literally, except for maybe a mystery, but even that would be a bit much. So, but otherwise, yeah, a character can end up using a lot of Perm items, Perm status effects, whether they're injuries, curses, perks, or just status effects like passives. You get the point. By the way, I know we have Heat Wave, but I think this is the more interesting one, because you can deal... If you go the lowest you can go, or the worst, quote-unquote, you can do, is you spend 2 stamina and deal 4 damage with the Cursed Doll. However, with the Perm-made Heat Wave, you take 1 stamina damage and possibly do only 2. So, yeah, I think that breaks even. I didn't even think about that, because again, I made Heat Wave. I'm pretty sure I did, although the art is more taken from an existing Perm example. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you get your pretty much the same worth off the Cursed Doll at worst than Heat Wave. However, of course, you could high roll the Cursed Doll or Heat Wave, and then you get more bang for buck, basically. That's all I'm trying to say. So yeah, we do need to handcuff this boss here. If we throw the Eldritch Fluid, I think it's actually a 1 turn. I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, I finally reached level 3. Anatomy class is interesting as well, but I'm going to take the Reason Healing, because Reason Healing, so... Shrugging in real life. This, however, I don't think I like this. No, I don't. So we actually do need to run here. I didn't want to, but we had to. Because otherwise, pain. So, definitely throw the Eldritch Fluid. Do we get out in 1 turn, actually? Yes. So, let me do Handcuff Tech. And off we go. And we get another Eldritch Fluid back. Although we do get time skip, so +5 Doom. But the important part is that we survived with a good amount of HP remaining. So, Hopefully arms here doesn't put me on timeline B. The boss would not be nice, but I don't really get to choose that anyway. Do I want to gamble here? 95% into 385%. Guess we are. If I take 4 stamina damage, so be it. You know, anyone else would have hit that, but I'm just shaking my head silently. We do have a weird substance, but we still, that doesn't change the fact that we lost 4 stamina. So I'll do my best. Oh goodness, please. Don't go crazy. I could gamble on dexterity here. Okay, I think that's one of the only 2 or 3 times I've passed that event. And I don't know. I didn't low roll me there, by the way. Anywho, this is also very bad. I don't think there's any good way out of this. So we are going to run again, I guess. And here we use the monument. So, ask for funds. Ask for funds again, please. I don't need any more funds. I could ask for reason. I wanted to ask for funds, though, and I can't do that. So, yeah. So the boss... Okay, trying to remember. The boss of Tongue is a... was my second encounter. Period. End of sentence for the moment. Again, here's your occasional reminder. We fought a lot of enemies this run, by the way. Or it feels like I did. But anywho, if we can hit all 3 of these, because 95%, please, that would be great. And then I can just do Desperate Struggle, Prep Attack, question mark? Yeah. For how much damage? 9. I was going to say something, but I completely forgot. We need that Eldritch Fluid. I don't need these library notes. So they don't sell for anything, so might as well not sell them. But the Eldritch Fluid is the most important thing here. We're on timeline A, and yeah, off we go. Now, if I still die here due to Doom, I will be a little bit surprised. But if I increase my dexterity, I shouldn't need to worry about stamina anymore. Do we have the 6th floor? No, so I actually don't need to increase stamina at all. So, yeah, let's play a bit loose here so that I can do Desperate Struggle against... Never mind, there's no Takshisan either. Well, guess we do this, and off we go. Didn't need to rest there at all. I didn't need to rest here at all. In fact, if I get both Doom checks wrong, I actually do die here. But my hand. So we did into Tongue, right? Yeah, Metamorphosis into Tongue. And by extension, the boss of Tongue was our second encounter because we literally fought nothing early on in the run until all the way at the end, which is actually not good in general, by the way. The reason for that is because enemies are scaled with more damage and HP later on, and it's better to fight enemies earlier if you can and get experience to level up. But hey, we survived there perfectly fine, so yeah, without further ado, not really much else to say. Not much else to say, if I can speak correctly. If you have anything to say, any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, if you want to see me do something specific in Perm, because I'll probably get to it at some point, but it might take a while with how much there is in Perm. So yeah, again, if you have any requests, feel free to let me know. Any questions, any specific questions that I might not get to in terms of making something in Perm will probably be a bonus episode, so I will, well, I won't need to denote it because the video will come out and it'll be called a bonus episode. But yeah, not going to take up much more of your time. You know what to do if you want to do whatever you want to do, and I'll see you later. Bye!